Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, making the second video possibly in a row on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, much to the death of my analytics, unfortunately. I've just been enjoying playing Battle Stadium more than I've been enjoying Duel Links, so I've been playing it more, both on stream on this YouTube channel. If you would like to watch me stream live, please feel free to subscribe both to my YouTube and follow my Twitch, where I also stream as well. But I've been playing a lot of Battle Stadium singles, and this was the newest team I cooked up. I was inspired by the team Q the Costa Rican cooked my ass with last month when we had a battle against each other in 3v3s, where he brought an Eject pack Ninetales to set up the sun. I was really inspired by that and decided to bring it myself. So the whole team is more or less built around that, and we've gone pretty hard in on Sun. Basically every single team member is a Sun abuser in some way, although Great Tusk and Roaring Moon and Life Orb Fluttermane do function quite well without Sun. Even Ogerpon Hearthflame as well functions quite well without Sun, although they're all boosted by Sun. So that might be an issue with the team. I'll talk more about potential changes I would make or what I think of the team overall after we look at the battles. The general way I like to structure these videos is team overview, battles, and then my thoughts on the team after I can show you how it performs. So let's go over the team one Pokemon at a time, beginning all the way at the back with Ninetales here. We've got Overheat, Extrasensory, Will-O-Wisp, and Encore with the Eject Pack, Timid Nature, Max... what is it? We've got Max Special Attack, Max Speed, Will-O-Wisp to punish potential Gliscor leads if they don't protect. And if they do protect, we get to, Will-O-Wisp them and then Encore them into protect, which is very nice, so they don't get to do anything against us there. So that's just one of the ways this team sort of tries to beat its poor matchups. I really like this set. It's capable of not only being a lead, but being brought in the back. You're going to see in a couple games here on ladder, I brought this thing in the back and it won me games late into the match, both by setting up Sun with Overheat to pivot into our Sun sweepers, as well as just getting in the last kills with Sun boosted Overheat itself. I was really impressed with it, and I will probably refine this team and continue to use Ninetales as my Sunsetter over Torkoal. I really liked it. Let's move to the front with probably the most common Pokemon you're going to see on ranked, Ogerpon Hearthflame. We've got Stomping Tantrum for the opposing Ogerpon matchup. If they Terrastalize after we get a Trailblaze off, we will be faster, and then we'll be able to take them out with Stomping Tantrum. The only problem is this set kind of hard loses to Dragonite, so I can easily see people preferring to run Play Rough over Stomping Tantrum. This is a little more reliant on Terrastalizing, because I'm not running Swords Dance, because if my Terra type is going to give me +1 attack in the sun, I'd rather have ways to be able to hit first, and that's why we're running Trailblaze. All in all, I do like this set. Ogerpon puts in work whenever you bring it to the game. I just prefer Rock Ogerpon, since fire is so common. Next up, one of my least favorite Pokemon, just because of how good it is, Fluttermane. There's really not much else that could be on this team as a special attacking sweeper other than Fluttermane. It's just so good. Anything else would not be as good. We're running Calm Mind Substitute Terra Normal, so we can Terra Normal and sub on Fluttermane or Goldengo Shadow Ball, although Goldengo can make it rain, so that's not as reliable against that Pokemon. I was thinking of running Choice Specs, but I thought Choice Specs and Choice Band on the same team was a little iffy. In practice, though, I actually think Choice Specs is probably better because in practice, the games that I was thinking of bringing Main to were games I weren't going to bring Roaring Moon to, so I don't think Specs would be that bad. Great Tusk, this is a fantastic Sun Sweeper in addition to our next Pokemon. These are more or less like the photosynthesis win conditions. Obviously, Fluttermane is a win condition, but these two in practice ended up coming in clutch a lot more than Fluttermane did. Great Tusk is Terra Fire for the Chien Pao and Fluttermane matchup. Close combat, Earthquake, Ice Spinner, Rapid Spin. We are running max speed, max HP with 4 in special defense. Fluttermane is also timid, max with 4 in special defense. That's actually a total lie. This is a different Great Tusk set. We've got just enough speed to outrun Dragapult after a Rapid Spin. I'll probably put the Pokepaste in the description, so I don't know the exact EVs on this. I just know what I EV'd it to outspeed. I just don't remember what the exact number was. So we've got max HP, just enough speed to outrun Dragapult after a boost, and therefore outrun non-speed booster Fluttermane or Bundle, which is why we're on close combat over knockoff, so we have something to kill the bundles that we outspeed at +1, and the rest is an attack, so we are getting an attack boost from Sun as well, which sort of makes up for our lack of attack investment, and then of course Rapid Spin will make up for us not getting the speed boost in the Sun. I really like this set. It did come in clutch in the first match you're going to see. A match we probably would have lost if our opponent didn't throw at the end, but I'm going to chalk it up to Great Tusk just being absolutely insane. Next up, Roaring Moon. This is a Pokemon that is absolutely capable of winning games on its own. In fact, you're going to see that in one of the games. This thing basically secures the W after Ninetales sets up Sun for it. Choice Band with speed boosting in the Sun, so I think we've got, 220 speed? Max attack, 220... max speed, 220 attack, and the rest in HP. Although since this is Terra Steel, it might be better to give it more special defense so it doesn't lose to Fluttermane's Sun-boosted possible Mystical Fires. But so many Fluttermane sets are just Charm, Thunderwave that I don't know how worried I am about that. So we've invested the rest of our EVs in HP rather than special defense. We've got Iron Head for the Terra Steel boost, Knockoff because it's just one of the best moves in the game, Earthquake for coverage, and U-Turn. You could potentially swap Earthquake to a Dragon attack, but I haven't really wanted to do that. We just have 3 Pokemon on the team with ground coverage, so maybe it's a little bit much. But I really like this moveset. Iron Head, Knockoff, and U-Turn are absolutely fantastic for a speed-boosting Choice Bander, and I would not switch them for anything. Lilligant ended up being a Pokemon I really wanted to use. We've got Focus Sash to let it live any potential one-hit KOs as it sets up Victory Dance or the like. We were Terra Electric to stop it from being Thunder Wave because so many Fluttermane sets are running Thunder Wave Charm, and if we can Terra Electric on a suspected Thunder Wave as we Victory Dance outspeed, we probably one-shot Fluttermane with any +1 attack. So that's the conceit there. We've got Close Combat. I didn't want to run Solar Blade because we're not Heat Rock, so we're on Leaf Blade instead, and Ice Spinner for Dragonite and Pokemon that this Pokemon can't hit super effectively with its other moves, as well as Victory Dance, which I think is the most interesting reason to play this, and Chlorophyll for those speed boosts. We're also on Ice Spinner on Great Tusk. I don't think I mentioned that. Maybe I did, but for a similar reason, Great Tusk gets walled by Gliscor, which in practice I have been seeing more as I've gotten up into Master Rank. So I want to have answers to that on my defensive pivots. Not pivots, my defensive utility Pokemon. And that is everything, because we already went over the Ninetales. I was pretty impressed with how this team performed. I was really worried I went too in on Sun and that it'd get too predictable and that I would just lose. But the team performed better than I anticipated, and I'll show you right now how it performed in a ladder setting. These are going to be post-commentated battles, so you'll see the play-by-play and my thoughts about why I made the plays I made and whether or not they were right or wrong. And then I'll meet you right back here and we'll talk about how I thought the team performed and what, if anything, I would change. Alrighty, so this is the first game I played with the team. Seeing a Dragonite, Chi-Yu, Garganacl, and a potential Terra Water Urshifu isn't ideal. I think Rapid Strike's critical hits probably still kill Ninetales even in the Sun. But I think if there's Scarf, that's fine intel, and if they're not Scarf, we outspeed and pivot. So I'm just thinking if I want to counter lead the Garganackle, or counter lead the potential Garganackle or Water Urshifu with my Ogerpon. So I'm just looking back and forth, thinking about my options here. Ogerpon is definitely a win condition on this team because, like, barring the Dragonite, Ivy Cudgel just goes super hard, and Stomping Tantrum hits what Ivy Cudgel and Hornleech don't. So Ogerpon's a shoe-in. It's just, do I want to lead Ninetales and bring Ogerpon in the back, lead Ogerpon, bring Ninetales in the back, and then I'm just going to need something to keep in mind for that Dragonite. And I end up choosing Great Tusk. And this episode, or this battle rather, is going to be a bit of a Great Tusk showcase. I was really worried about Dragonite, but I sort of play not as, or I get forced into a situation in which I have to possibly lose to a Dragonite Earthquake, which isn't ideal, but we'll see if we can't pull it out. They're waiting a really long time before locking in their team, but they have decided that they are going to bring the three they bring. So we are going to wait for the battle to load here. They are going to lead off with Garganackle. Not ideal, but we are going to pivot out, leading our beautiful shiny Ninetales. This is actually the whole reason I decided to build the team, is not only did I like Eject Pack Ninetales when I saw it, but I also just had a random Vulpix outbreak and I wanted to hunt it. So we're debating going for Will-O-Wisp or Overheat here. Will-O-Wisp is really nice to nullify leftovers. Will-O-Wisp is better if I expect them to go for Stealth Rocks. Overheat is better if I expect them to just click Salt Cure. Ultimately, I expect them to click Salt Cure here, and we miss Overheat. This is the first time I brought this Pokemon to a battle, and we're missing Overheat right off the bat. Really bad vibes here. We're going to not take our half damage. At this point, if it was going to miss, I should have just hard switched out into Great Tusk. That would have given me great initiative, but how did I know I'd miss the 90% chance? If it's not 100%, it's 50%, you know what I'm saying? So we do hit the second one, deal decent chip, and of course that's going to proc out the Eject Pack. Much worse, given that we've already wasted a turn of Sun. So I'm not too thrilled about the position I'm in. We're going to go hard into Great Tusk because given that our Ninetales is half HP, they wouldn't have known that we were Eject Pack, so they would have assumed they would either kill us with Salt Cure or get whatever we switched into on Salt Cure. It's a done deal. They're going for Salt Cure this turn. There's no way they're going for anything else. We do get the attack boost, which is nice, and we're going to be Salt Cured for a massive 5 points of damage. Their leftovers are going to proc now and get them back some HP, revealing that they are in fact leftovers. We're going to take some damage from Salt Cure, a lot less than I thought we took from Salt Cure. I'm so used to getting like Salt Cured on a water or steel type, and it just deals so much damage. But we're not going to take too much chip, and we're just going to go for a Mighty Earthquake as they protect to get some recover back. Very interesting. My opponent must not be able to afford NyQuil, and they have to play Garganackle Stall instead. I understand. I've been there. So we're just going to let them get that HP back. They are going to Terra. I was worried they had Terra Flying, and I was like, should I go Ice Spinner? But I figured Ghost, Fairy are more common, as well as Water if you're an OU player, or an old OU player, are more common defensive typings. Though I don't think you're going to go Terra Water anymore with Ogerpon running around. So I figure I don't really have anything to worry about. Terra Flying actually seems like a really good Terra type for Garganackle right now, although you do lose to Rock Ogerpon. Alrighty, they are going to Terra as expected. I start kicking myself thinking they're going to go Terra Flying, and I'm an idiot for not going Ice Spinner. But they Terrastalize into Fairy, which means Earthquake is still my most powerful attack. So that is fine. We're going to hit them with the mightiest of Earthquakes, again boosted by whatever the hell we got. And they're going to go for Iron Defense. So they're Protect, Salt Cure, Iron Defense, Body Press, which I guess is a set you could run. So they're going to gain some HP back, and we are going to get Salt Cured, and priority will pass back to us as we decide what we're going to go for here. I feel like I can maybe throw this Pokemon away, but so I stay in, also figuring they're probably not going to do much to me, so I might as well get some chip. They could just be Recover. If they're Recover, this person's like an actual terrorist. So we're going to go for Earthquake, just trying to get some chip on this thing eventually. I'm really thinking here because, I mean, I don't know what to do in the face of a +2 defense Garganackle. I'd like to get my Ogre Pawn in to get some +1 Ivy Cudgels off, but we go for Earthquake, not seeing a free opportunity to switch, and we are rewarded for our faith in a just and loving God with a critical hit against the stall player, and their Garganackle dies and goes to hell. The 1,000 years of sunlight has faded, plunging the world into eternal darkness once again, and our Great Tusk takes some more damage from the Salt Cure. Really a lot more damage taken there than I would have liked. So we go into Fluttermane, and they're going to get a Photosynthesis boost from the booster energy. They're going to boost their speed, and I should have known this was a shitty defensive Fluttermane set since no one's playing offensive main anymore, but I'm like, surely they're like plus. They're like max, like a champion would be, like a real Pokemon player would be, but they're not. Not that I know that. A speed boost is still something that a max Fluttermane would get. I don't see what their booster energy boosted, which is why I'm spending so long thinking. It's like, was it special attack? Was it speed? I figured it was probably speed. I go back into Ninetales just to sack it off here. So we're gonna bring back the Great Tusk and send out Ninetales, the Treasure Hunter, and we're going to see what they go for. Just setting up the sun again. The sunlight has turned harsh, and we're going to take a Moonblast and live it. Unfortunately, I think that was exactly half HP. Might have been a little more. I figure I'd go for Will-O-Wisp just in case for some weird reason they switch out. Overheat actually is what I click, even though I'm -1. I was thinking about going for Will-O-Wisp, like I'll get chip damage, but in practice, if they don't kill me here, Will-O-Wisp or Overheat is better. Just kidding, I did go for Will-O-Wisp, I'm lying to you. Alright, so Ninetales goes down here, and I make a huge misplay. The smart play here is to just go to Ogre Pawn and fucking cudgel the fuck up, and then win that way. But I get little booster energies in my eyes and think +1 attack, Great Tusk definitely kills Fluttermane, and I can Terra Fire, completely forgetting that Great Tusk Ice Spinner was my answer to Dragonite, and if we Terra Fire, we are dead to Earthquake. So this is a game-losing play I am making right now. This is again sort of why I like to play, why I like to commentate post-commentary, is because I either A, play better, which I think is what I do in the next couple games, or I can tell you with a clear mind when plays are suboptimal. And this play right here was the wrong play. I have no idea why I didn't go into Ogre Pawn and start Ivy Cudgeling the fuck up. Though, knowing what I know post-battle, that this isn't as bad because, as we find out later, this is a Charm Fluttermane, and since Fluttermane outspeeds Ogre Pawn, they could have just charmed my Ogre Pawn. But even if they had charmed it, I would have been able to switch into Great Tusk, and then Ice Spinnered the Dragonite to kill it, and there we go, we take Charm. I hate Fluttermane so much. I hate that it's just good enough that you don't even need to run offensive investment for it to do tons of work for you, and then you just get to Charm offensive Pokemon. It's just so much better than like any other Pokemon that you could play in its slot. So then they end with Dragonite, and this is when I realized I made a really bad play because my answer to Dragonite was Ice Spinner on Great Tusk, and we don't have that. If we had not terastallized this thing, we would have been able to switch it in right now and then just go for some free Ice Spinners with the best of them. But we got to rely on Ogre Pawn here. They're going to go for Dragon Dance. We do have Mold Breaker, which means we ignore the multiscale, which is nice. Of course, the sunlight fades, which is not ideal, but we're going to hit him with a very nice Ivy Cudgel with the ability to ignore multiscale. We do a decent amount. Would have liked to crit, obviously. We are not going to die from Earthquake. And then we're going to just click another Ivy Cudgel. It is our best play. They're going to go for Extreme Speed, obviously. And Ogerpon is going to Fate, which means we have to rely on our neutral attack Great Tusk with very minimal attack investment to beat this Dragonite. Now, we are, of course, faster than this thing, but they're at +1. They just go for Earthquake here and win the game easily. I have no idea what they're really thinking of clicking. They're taking their sweet-ass time, but Earthquake is the obvious play. They're going to go for Extreme Speed for some reason, not Earthquake. We're going to live on 1 HP and punish them for their hubris by killing their Dragonite with Ice Spinner and winning the game. I have no idea why they gifted us the victory. We made an incredibly game-losing play by terastallizing our Great Tusk, but we managed to make it out anyway. Next match here, going to be up against this, what looks to be sort of a Toxic Spikes Hyper Offense team. Is Ursaluna really Hyper Offense? I always associate Hyper Offense with super fast Pokemon, but I mean, Ursaluna is enough of a nuke to possibly qualify. I'm expecting the Glamora lead, which is why I lock in Great Tusk first. Although, of course, Great Tusk does potentially lose to a Terra Grass Energy Ball or a Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam. I think a little bit about what to bring here. I know for a fact Ninetales is coming in the back, but I'm deciding if I want to bring Fluttermane or Roaring Moon. And Roaring Moon is just like the best Pokemon to take this team on. Great Tusk, I think, will do okay against... well, I guess Great Tusk isn't going to do great against Blood Moon, but Roaring Moon, I think, with Choice Band and plus Speed is just a better overall option, so we end up locking that in. I like this 3 against the team they got. I think there's nothing I really lose to because we outspeed Dragonite in the sun even after a Dragon Dance, and we, you know, threaten to KO with 2 Iron Heads, Terra boosted, and Ursaluna I just refuse to acknowledge is real. I really don't think we had a better Pokemon to bring for Ursaluna other than Ogerpon, but I think Ogerpon also doesn't do as much versus Dragonite. If we're going to use Great Tusk to beat Glamora, we can't use it to beat Dragonite, for example, so I have to make the decision to bring Roaring Moon instead. We are going to lead Great Tusk. I'm going to... they're either going to be Scarf or they're going to be Sash, so I think about predicting the Terra Grass and going for Ice Spinner if they're Scarf, just believing in my heart that we'll live in Energy Ball. We are Assault Vested, which is... another reason why I felt confident in that. I also thought about maybe going for, Rapid Spin to outspeed even Scarf Glamora, but ultimately I figure it's probably Focus Sash. I feel like that's the most common, even though in reality I haven't faced many Scarf or Focus Sash Glamoras, so I probably should stop playing as if that's the most common. They're going to Terastallize, I'm assuming Grass. It is Fairy, which is nice. Earthquake is still my best play here. I was really kicking myself when they Terastallized because I could have gotten a huge hit off with Ice Spinner. They're going to go for Dazzling Gleam, revealing that they are in fact Scarfed. We are going to take quite a bit of damage, and then we're going to go for Earthquake. They actually might not be Scarfed. Again, we're not max speed. We are going to allow them to get up Toxic Debris, which is fine. We're going to ideally kill them before that poison can take its toll. We are going to think for a second about switching out. Ultimately, it's best to just sack Great Tusk off and set up for a Roaring Moon Choice Band sweep. So we're going to just go for Earthquake. They have to be choice locked in. So they go for Dazzling Gleam, and we are going to die. That's totally fine. This chip ultimately ended up being kind of pointless. But, like, Great Tusk ended up serving its purpose because it locked... Glamora into a Fairy move, which allows us to get a free either Overheat kill on this Pokemon or a massive hit on an incoming switch, because again they are locked in to Dazzling Gleam, so we're going to hit them with the Overheat, expecting them to leave this thing in. They switch out, which is huge. Potentially whatever they switch in might now be in range of an Iron Head or something. And what do you know, they switch into Ogerpon. They're going to be taking a Sun-boosted Overheat. That is huge damage. That is definitely within Roaring Moon Iron Head range. So we are going to pop our Eject Pack and switch into Choice Band speed boosting Roaring Moon and see what we can't get done with this Pokemon. Wow, what an incredible poorly delivered line. I'm going to cut that out. You'll never know what I just said. So we've pivoted out into Roaring Moon here, and Roaring Moon gets poisoned, but that's fine. We're going to wrap the game up in 3 turns, 3 or 4 turns, depending what their last Pokemon is. Unfortunately, since we do switch in mid-turn, we do take damage this turn. I'm not happy about that, but it is what it is. We do not have to worry about terrestrializing, and we do not have to worry about this thing outspeeding us. Checking the rest of their team just to make sure what the freest move to lock into is, and it is Iron Head. Iron Head is great against Glimmora, and Iron Head is the best against whatever they could have in the back. They are going to die. And their last Pokemon will be revealed to us after we take some damage. Communicating up there, Roaring Moon is hurt by its poisoning, and they're going to send out their Dragonite. So this is probably fine. I imagine they go for Dragon Dance here, assuming we can't kill them in 1 hit. I don't know if that's really a great play. They probably went for Earthquake, in all honesty. That's probably their safest play. I don't know what else they would go for. Maybe T-Wave. We're going to go for Terra on this guy. Terra Fire doesn't really seem that helpful in this instance. If Roaring Moon dies, Ninetales basically loses the game. So we are going to terrestrialize this fella into a Steel type, and let's see how much our Choice Band Iron Head does. Huge damage through multiscale. This is definitely going to kill them, I think, and we get the flinch. Big fan of that. We're going to be hurt by our poisoning, but that is totally fine. I suspect we do kill from this range, and if we don't, I think at Ninetales' HP range, we outspeed and kill the Dragonite with Extra Sensory, and we probably kill the Glimmora with Overheat. Dragonite goes down to the second Choice Banded Iron Head. We take a little bit of damage, but as long as the sun stays active, and I believe it does, we are going to outspeed Scarf Glimmora and take it to the grave with our 3rd Iron Head, 4th, I guess, overall, because we took 2 to get the Dragonite and 1 for the Ogerpon. We're going to click Iron Head, and they are going to lose the game. So there goes the Iron Head, and bam, the Glimmora is down, and that is essentially a 3-0 sweep from our friend Roaring Moon. Really big fan of how this Pokemon's performed on the Sun team. I think it's probably the best Pokemon for abusing Sun. Choice Band with a speed boost, just incredibly good. Last game of the video here. Probably the weirdest team we've seen. I have never seen Thunderous Therian outside of the first time that I used it in Regulation D. I think D was the home metagame. Yeah, because E is the current one, and E has the DLC mons. So I haven't seen Thunderous Therian in a long time. Cloyster, no idea what that's going to do. So I end up like not quite knowing what I want to bring, because I'm like, what are they going to lead? And I assume they're going to lead Urshifu, Water. I don't know why I'm playing around like them bringing Water Urshifu, because like I have a Sun team and Sun weakens Water. But I have it in my head that Ogerpon is the best lead. We're bringing Great Tusk in the back for Ice Spinner purposes against the Tornadus, which I think they're also going to bring. It also has close combat if it's Dark Urshifu. I think for a long time, I think Fluttermane is maybe better against their team overall, because Ursaluna doesn't have great special defense, neither does Cloyster. But I end up locking in Great Tusk, Ogerpon, and Ninetales. Bringing Ninetales in the back again, because I suspect Ogerpon is just the best lead here, because I really have it in my mind that they're going to lead Urshifu for whatever reason. So they're going to send out a Pokemon that is absolutely not Urshifu, and we're going to send out Ogerpon Hearthflame. And I, for some reason, am like, they're definitely switching out here. I'm going to go for Trailblaze and win the game. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to immediately think for a second and not do anything, and then click Trailblaze. Trailblaze just seems like the freest thing, because I don't think we die in 1 hit, or they're going to switch out. And they do switch out. I don't know if I killed them in 1 hit with Ivy Cudgel, but I definitely killed them with 2. So they're going to switch into their own Ogerpon, which is like the best thing they could have switched into, because now we outspeed for sure. The thing is, I'm not sure if I should have gone for Ivy Cudgel or Stomping Tantrum, because in my mind, their obvious play is to Terrastalize, expecting an Ivy Cudgel out of me. I think that's their obvious play. So I Terrastalize and go for Stomping Tantrum. But of course, if they don't Terrastalize, which seems like a bad play to me, I get punished for not just clicking Ivy Cudgel. So that's where we're at. I'm going to get my Embody aspect, and I'm going to wait and see if they Terrastalize. They don't, so I should have just clicked Ivy Cudgel. That was unfortunate on my part. Like, really, really unfortunate. I think I probably just won the game on the spot if I clicked Ivy Cudgel there, because I would not have taken that chip. I would have definitely outspeeded Ursaluna. Earth Power might have killed me. It probably did. But it is unfortunate that I basically made a prediction around what I thought was an optimal play for my opponent, and they just didn't take it. But I guess that sort of thing can happen in ranked. And maybe I'm just wrong about that being the optimal play for them, because it did end up working out for them, not Terrastalizing. I think it was a bad play, but I mean, they're rewarded for it, so maybe it wasn't. We're going to finally kill them with Ivy Cudgel, as was probably obvious. We now have not very much HP at all. They are going to send out their Ursaluna next, bring that back in. There he is. And I think for a second if they're going to Terrastalize or not, and it seems obvious if they're not Terrastalizing this thing, or if they didn't Terrastalize Ogerpon, their win condition is a Terra normal into Blood Moon Hyper Voice type sweep sort of a situation. They could also be Assault Vest, but I think they're probably going to Terrastalize this thing, so I don't go for Horn Leech, and we go for Ivy Cudgel instead, because that does more damage and has a high crit rate, and if it crits, we just win the game, so it's just the correct play here. If it doesn't kill, we more than put it in range for a Ninetales Extra Sensory or a Great Tusk attack, but I think Ninetales is the safest way to finish it if we don't get it dead here. They do Terra Normal, and we're going to hop, skip, and a jump all their way down to red HP, and they're going to Earth Power us, obviously, and Ogerpon is dead, folks. That is fine. We've gotten to a position in which we can both finish off Ursaluna, pivot out with Ninetales, and then switch Ninetales back in as death fodder to set up the sun again for another Great Tusk boost if for some reason we need it. So we're in a really good position here. Obviously, Ogerpon has done more than enough heavy lifting for this match. We're going to go for Extra Sensory so we don't pivot out and finish that thing off. Weird animation. I've never seen it before. Oh, I didn't explain in the team preview. We're actually on Extra Sensory because Okidogi is the most common member of the Loyal 3, and I figured I'd probably see it on ranked. And if not, it is another thing that can hit Water Urshifu. Then we're just going to click Overheat. I think about getting cute and clicking Will-O-Wisp, but like I lose the game if I do that. So we are not going to do that, and we're going to Overheat in the sun, see how much damage that does, enough to finish off the Urshifu, and that's how Ninetales can get in position to sort of clean up games on its own without needing your third Pokemon. And in that way, it did perform much better than I thought it would have. So we're back with the team, and it performed a lot better than I thought it would. I was really worried Ninetales would be an obvious lead and it'd be easy to counter lead, but thankfully Ninetales, more than any other weather setter it feels like, is really nice to bring in the back. We're not trying to set up Aurora Veil, so we don't need to lead it in order to get the maximum amount of screens turns. We are more than capable of leading something like an Ogerpon or a Great Tusk, and then getting Ninetales in the back to set up a sweep from another potential team member. I didn't end up bringing Fluttermane to any of these matches, so you could potentially swap it for something else. I do think Specs Fluttermane is probably the best on this team, and more than anything, unfortunately, Lilligant did not do anything, and I'm really upset because I shiny hunted it especially for this team, but overall, I think the team would probably be better if we swapped Lilligant for something else, and maybe swapped Great Tusk as well. So we only had about 3 to 4 Pokemon that are sun reliant, and then we can bring something like another core of Pokemon to bring in games where we don't bring Ninetales. We can maybe just bring Ogerpon and 2 other teammates, or Roaring Moon and 2 other teammates, because Choice Band Roaring Moon is still incredibly strong even without max attack or the speed boost, though obviously the Sun is great for helping Choice Band Roaring Moon sweep teams with a speed boost. And I don't think I would swap Roaring Moon's set nor take it off the team. I think Choice Band Roaring Moon is absolutely great for Sun. Hearthflame Ogerpon performed pretty well. I think you could maybe run Play Rough instead, but then you're walled by opposing fire types, which if your opponent's Ogerpon terastallizes might be a bit of an issue. I ran Stomping Tantrum for Heatran, but I have not seen Heatran in many days. And this Great Tusk set is itself a Heatran counter. That's why it's Terra Fire and Ice Spinner to resist Terra Grass, Terra Blast, plus with Assault Vest. It's pretty good. So I would probably consider Play Rough on Ogerpon, maybe swapping Fluttermane either for a different Pokemon that doesn't need Sun, or running Specs Fluttermane. And then I would definitely switch out Lilligant and potentially switch out Great Tusk, although I think Great Tusk is really good on this team. I think you can easily get to Master Rank with the team as it is, but in the coming days/weeks, I'll probably iterate on this Sun team and get a Choice Specs Fluttermane on the team and swap Lilligant for something that maybe doesn't need Sun to be wholly self-sufficient. All in all, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did want to use the team for yourself, of course, the team code has been in the corner this whole time, 7D6 BMT Bacon Mayonnaise Tomato, my favorite kind of sandwich. That's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did use the team, please let me know how it went for you on the ranked ladder. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.